In our budget 4 years ago, we committed that by 2025, 1 in 10 cars sold in Canada would be electric.
Everybody's going to be forced to buy an electric car, which they're not going to do because they don't want that. It's got a great market. It's got a market. It's really a sub-market. But they want everybody to have an electric car. We don't have enough electricity. We couldn't make enough electricity.
And then we got to work. We made sure that buying electric cars was more affordable. We invested in manufacturing and critical minerals. And now more Canadians are buying electric vehicles than ever before. We've reached our target 2 years.
However, the automotive trade between Canada and the United States is now under serious threat due to drastic policy changes proposed by former U.S. President Donald Trump. His latest stance on trade has sent shockwaves through North America's economic relationship, a bond that has long been defined by the seamless flow of goods, services, and investments across the border. Trump has explicitly threatened to impose a 100% tariff on Canadian vehicles and metals, a move that has left Ottawa not only stunned, but also scrambling to devise an effective response. The United States and Canada have long been deeply intertwined when it comes to trade. In 2023 alone, bilateral trade between the two nations exceeded $900 billion, with Canada exporting roughly $350 billion worth of goods to the U.S. Of that, a significant portion consisted of vehicles and critical metals. Canada sends over 2 million vehicles annually to its southern neighbor, alongside millions of tons of steel and aluminum. These materials are essential to everything from auto manufacturing to infrastructure projects. In fact, over 60% of Canada's auto exports are destined for the U.S., making it a key economic pillar that supports hundreds of thousands of jobs on both sides of the border. Trump's rationale for the tariff threat appears to be twofold. First, he claims that the United States is running a significant trade deficit with Canada, which he argues must be corrected to strengthen domestic manufacturing. Second, he has cited vague national security concerns, an argument that echoes the rhetoric he used during his first term when he imposed tariffs on steel and aluminum from various trading partners, including Canada. However, his latest remarks have been even more provocative, suggesting that Canada could avoid tariffs by simply becoming a U.S. state, a statement that has only fueled the growing tensions between the two nations. Canada, however, is not taking these threats lightly. In response, some Canadian politicians have proposed a bold countermeasure, imposing a 100% tariff on Tesla vehicles entering Canada. The logic behind this move is strategic. Tesla, led by billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk, is one of the most prominent American companies in the electric vehicle (EV) market. It is a symbol of American innovation, boasting a market valuation of over $1 trillion. By targeting Tesla, Canada is sending a clear message. It will not be pushed around, and it has the leverage to strike back where it hurts. The impact of a 100% tariff on Tesla would be significant. In 2024, Tesla sold over 50,000 vehicles in Canada, with models like the Model 3 and Model Y being particularly popular due to generous government incentives aimed at promoting EV adoption. A tariff would instantly double the price of these vehicles, making them unaffordable for most consumers and effectively crushing Tesla's sales in the country. Additionally, Tesla has been eyeing Canada as a crucial supplier of raw materials such as lithium and nickel, key components in battery production. If Canada were to divert these resources elsewhere, such as to Europe or China, Tesla's North American supply chain could face serious disruptions. Beyond Tesla, the broader North American auto industry could suffer severe consequences. The United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, the successor to NAFTA, has fostered an integrated supply chain where auto parts and raw materials crisscross the border multiple times before a vehicle is fully assembled. Canada exports over $15 billion worth of auto parts annually to the U.S., supplying major automakers such as Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler. If a 100% tariff were implemented, costs would skyrocket for American car manufacturers, leading to higher prices for consumers and potential job losses in the U.S. auto sector. Canada, meanwhile, is exploring alternative markets in case the trade war escalates. One of its most promising options is the European Union. Under the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, CETA, which came into effect in 2017, Canada enjoys tariff-free access to the EU market for 98% of its goods. Since the agreement's implementation, Canadian exports to Europe have grown by 30%, reaching approximately $60 billion annually. The EU's massive market of 450 million consumers offers a viable alternative to the US, particularly for key industries such as metals, minerals, and automobiles. However, shifting trade from the US to Europe is easier said than done. The geographical advantage of trading with the US cannot be ignored. Canada and the US share the world's longest land border, allowing goods to move quickly and cheaply between the two nations. Auto parts, for instance, can be transported from Windsor, Ontario, to Detroit, Michigan in a matter of hours. In contrast, shipping goods across the Atlantic to Europe is far more expensive and time-consuming. Furthermore, the European auto industry is already well established, with major players like Volkswagen, BMW, and Renault dominating the market. Canadian-made vehicles would face stiff competition and might struggle to gain a foothold. Despite these challenges, Canada is making it clear that it will not back down. The government has indicated that if Trump follows through with his tariff threats, it will respond with carefully calculated countermeasures. A trade war between the two neighbors could have far-reaching consequences, not just for industries, but for the broader geopolitical landscape. The US and Canada have historically enjoyed a close economic relationship, one that has benefited both countries immensely. Yet the escalating tensions highlight the fragility of this partnership and raise critical questions about its future. As the situation continues to unfold, one thing is certain: Canada is preparing for a fight. Whether through retaliatory tariffs on Tesla or by strengthening trade ties with Europe, the nation is determined to protect its economic interests. The coming months will be crucial in determining whether cooler heads prevail or if North America is headed for a full-scale trade showdown. Either way, the stakes are incredibly high, and the outcome will shape the economic landscape for years to come.